All right, I'm Andrew Baydala. That is Juice Springsteen. We are live. The new graphics are here. I was not lied to. These look fantastic. Strap your shit in tight. You in for another wild ride. This is episode 15. Juice, it's always good to see you. We've had a lot go down. We have a lot to talk about. Backlash. Last night's Dynamite. You were going to get my unfiltered review of AEW Dynamite last night. I didn't do it last night, so I'll do it tonight because I think that's what we should do here. We should give you my my unedited, unfiltered approach to Dynamite, which I do anyway, but I'm going to give it to you here right on Drew and Juice. I believe AC/DC's in town. Is that accurate, Juice?
LeBar is there. Mr. LeBar is there. I got a couple of buddies there. They are definitely
I was
here.
not invited, which really pisses me off, but it is what it is.
Hey, you want to come out to a WWE night at PNC Park on Saturday and then rush back to watch Backlash?
No.
Okay, I'll do it for us.
All right. Juice, how are you, my man?
I'm pretty good. You know, I love these the PLE weekends. It's always like an extra bonus because we're going to talk about a lot of great stuff, but we also
and Collision's live right now.
Collision, I got Collision right here, just in case anything crazy happens. You know, we can talk about it. But it's like no matter what happens, we also got a pay-per-view. Like it's exciting stuff this weekend, so right. it's that much better. And I'm interested to see, your unedited. You know, I can't really give you your little captions as you normally do your videos. So hopefully you can just nail it in one take. But we'll see.
We'll see.
So
we'll see.
I love the graphics.
Ricochet and Zach Gowen have been announced for Beach Break. Okay.
Intrigue, I guess. I haven't seen Zach Gowen wrestle in
a hot minute.
Has he wrestled since his WWE run? I mean, I'm probably
sure.
has like a match or two.
Sure.
Yeah, nothing. Okay. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Anybody?
Don't cue the frog.
Nope. I can't control that. That's got to be the producer. So, yeah, I mean, listen, we got a big week ahead of us, especially with the weekend. You got Friday Night SmackDown. Collision's live right now. Friday Night SmackDown. And then you have Backlash. And then it's just Sunday. Sunday's a nice day to kind of watch.
It's not just Sunday. It's Mother's Day.
Well, yeah, that's right. But, I mean, for some people, it's just, some people aren't a mother and
sure.
Stuff. But yeah,
of course.
But you want to know what? I am very thankful for all the mothers out there. I'm thankful for my wife. I'm thankful for my own mother. Without my mother, I wouldn't be here. Not in the physical way, but truthfully, without my mother, I would be not the human I am. So love you, Mom. I know you watch these, and happy Mother's Day. Anyways, what's interesting is last night it had a lot in it going into AEW Dynamite, but it also left a lot of questions for me. And I also am starting to really wonder about a couple of things, which we'll get into as we break down AEW Dynamite. But John Cena, Randy Orton for the last time at Backlash.
This weekend, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've seen them one-on-one on pay-per-view in person twice, and that was within a 5-year span of each other. And 11 years after that last one, they're doing it again. It's pretty crazy that this is one of those storied rivalries that back then people were definitely tired and, annoyed by, okay, Cena Orton again. Are we really doing this? Fast forward, nostalgia hits, a lot better. And Cena Orton with a new dynamic. Not only is Orton in his hometown, which he was going to get cheers anyway, he's going in as the babyface and Cena's going in as the heel, a complete 180 of what they've always done. Whether you wanted Orton to win or not, me. So I'm looking forward to it.
I'm going to say this right now. We'll get into it, but John Cena's not dropping that championship anytime soon, in my opinion. But great first opponent. It makes a lot of sense. John is going to have a fantastic match with Randy. And if you're not going to end John's career with Randy, you might as well, finish the run and have the first title defense against the man who's kind of been neck and neck with him ever since they both came up. I obviously have watched all of their career, both men. There's a lot of guys who are retired right now that I've watched their entire career, but hey, it is what it is. We get older. I did learn something new today about professional wrestling, which I hadn't.
Share.
You're going to love this, but I don't want to talk too much about it because I know you're going to go on and on and on. But it's WCW.
You damn right I will.
That's why I said you're going to go on and on because it's WCW. I was a big Wolfpack kid, when I was growing up because I was a teenager.
Well, how could you not?
But I was a Wolfpack teenager. Like, I dug the NWO, but when Nash kind of went off on his own, did his thing, I didn't remember that, like, Nash kind of just did his thing, and then K-Dog, and then it was Macho. But I didn't remember, like, they didn't get their own theme music and their own t-shirts for after a couple weeks after they had and I also did not know that Kurt Hennig was originally part of the Wolfpack, and I think he got hurt or something.
Yeah, that's a part of it as well, and it's funny how you bring this up because I was just on the Apron Bump talking Great American Bash 1997, which is over a year before you hear the actual Wolfpack music. Yet, whenever Kevin Nash, Hall, and Six came out, they were referenced as the Wolfpack. It was kind of
Right.
a informal thing, but that's these are the guys that no matter where Hogan was, these guys are all together. They're the lone wolves, what have you. It wasn't until 98 where you get the epic theme music that you could play anywhere and people
Oh
are gonna
God, people know
nod
what
their
it is.
head to it. It's so awesome. So cool on you to kind of get that little look. The NWO happened. It was a 3-year gap, but it felt like how long. So you kind of forget where things were placed.
I just didn't know Kurt Hennig was in it. I never, like, the iteration I know was Mach, Luger, Conan, and Sting, and Hall.
Yeah.
But even Hall, I believe, flipped quickly and then went back to black and white.
Yeah, they had, because Nash and Hall had their feud later in 98.
But again, I love the Wolfpack, and it was very interesting that a lot of this stuff took place on Thunder, and I didn't watch Thunder. I only watched Nitro. So
yeah, not a lot of people did watch Thunder.
All right.
Unless you're a diehard. So
well, a lot of people like to compare a lot of things to a lot of things, but let's talk about AEW Dynamite. Let's talk about last night. I'm going to ask you a question. What did you think of last night's show?
I enjoyed it for the most part. I have some questions. I'm sure we could maybe touch on it. I almost feel as if I don't know. It's a weird problem that I'm creating in my own head, but AEW has already set up huge matches for Beach Break, right? And it almost seems like they're there already. Like, and in that same realm, which is fine. That's a week out, and it's a TV show. You want to promote your show. They only have the finals of the tournaments planned for Double or Nothing, and that's a couple of weeks away. And that's a pay-per-view, and that's one of their 2 flagship pay-per-views. So it's like, well, when do we get, more of a traditional build, or are we going to fast track this with a week left? Like, what are they doing? And we'll get into some other stuff, but that was like my big takeaway is like, I'm here for Joe and the cage match and Mox. And now you just brought up Ricochet and Zach Gowen. Like, they're really putting forth they're kind of building ahead. And I like that, but don't forget what you're doing currently, even if it's just a week.
Yeah. So again, I felt as if the show was okay at best, truthfully. And I see all the positives in AEW. I truly do see where they're trying to go and what they're trying to accomplish. It's good to have variety. It's good to have something that's not so clean and over the top, and there's a little grit to it. That's why I really started to dig AEW, because it was different. WWE is so polished. But I will say this: last night's Dynamite left a lot more to be desired for me. I believe they're already at All In for the most part, and Double or Nothing. And and to me, it's these episodes, like the MJF stuff, right? The MJF with the Hurt Syndicate gets a lot of views, and I dug what they did the first 2 or 3 weeks that they did it, 3 or 4 weeks, however long it's been, truthfully. But now I got to a point where that segment yesterday, I'm going to kick off this with my review. MJF, the Hurt Syndicate comes out and Top Flight interrupts them, which I thought was cool, but nobody really believes Top Flight's a viable contender towards the Hurt Syndicate's championships at this point. And MJF just completely buried them, which was
by himself,
which was asinine in my opinion. Like, you just literally buried one of your solid tag teams who could, stockpile some victories and maybe challenge for those AEW tag titles. But MJF buried them by him. They took them out like they were 2 like local talents, which could have gotten the job done as well. You could have had somebody local and you could have got that done, in my opinion. But you buried, in my opinion, MJF buried. And I know a lot of people, I don't like using the word, but that's exactly what it was. One person beat the shit out of 2 dudes who, don't get me wrong, I'm loyal. I love those boys, but I didn't understand it. And I'm glad they got on TV, but that one to me was a head scratcher. And I'll be honest with you. To me, it just seems like Max has a lot to say because some of this stuff sucked. It sucked. Like Max and Bobby need to have a match. And if Max wins, he's in. If he loses, he's out. That's fine.
I agree.
But we got 2 more weeks. How much? I don't know how much stuff they're gonna do here in 2 more weeks. Make the match official. Have Bobby lay down the challenge or something, and have Max try and talk MVP or whomever out of it and all this other stuff. That's more intriguing to me than watching Max decimate one of your tag teams by himself. Stupid, in my opinion. And again, I think Max has a lot of creative say. Just from my eye, that's what it feels like. My eyes tell me that Max seems to do what he wants at times. The Jeff Jarrett stuff, that went away because the online people said it sucked. And Jarrett buried Max on his podcast without like fully burying him. But I mean, he basically said, like, I'll save this for a later date, but you could read between the lines unless you're a moron. And to me, it just seems as if, I dig what Max and the Hurt Syndicate were doing up until right now. Truthfully, I thought that segment was not good. And I thought, although it got a lot of views on YouTube, and they continue to get a lot of views because there are a lot of household names on those segments, I really think that there needs to be something else besides Max burying or beating up other talent to get the point across. That was a mistake for me. You could have beat up local talent. But again, I'll wait and see what happens. I really dug what they were doing, speaking of Max, with Will Ospreay, until I saw Max. I do not. Again. I know. I like MJF. I think he's got a lot of talent and everything else like that. But I'm starting to see the whole, like, I could kind of do what I want because now he's inserting himself into the whole Will Ospreay thing. Will needs to be worried about Mox, which he is. And I get that. And he needs to be worried about Hangman Page come Double or Nothing, which he is as well. And I get that. And Will's story is very, very good right now. Very good. I have no issue with it. But Max and Will is fine with me. If that's going to be Will's first opponent when he wins the World Championship, or if he wins the World Championship at All In, fine. But Max cannot go over. Will's reign cannot be a month and then he chases MJF, or I'm not for. And for me, if Moxley is beat at All In, if he's going to, take some time and disappear for a little bit, okay, that's fine, I guess. But I would like to have Moxley kind of like, you got lucky and I want my rematch with Will. I mean, that's just me, but it seems like Max is already calling his shot when Will wins the championship. And I don't know if I really dig that at this particular moment. I'm going to let things marinate and develop though.
So I had a couple questions. So like, what does Top Flight do now? What do they do next?
Nothing.
How do they come back in? Are they just going to be a tag team that, hey, we got our asses kicked by one guy?
That was my biggest issue. Like Max could have done that to any local jabroni that we don't know. I'm sure, Absolutely. Somebody will know who they are, but I mean, come on. That was a mistake in my opinion. And you know what? I'm sure we'll get somebody who's like, Top Flight said they no problem, they'll do it. I'm sure they did. And
of course they would do it.
And I'm sure that Max didn't. And if he did, then shame on him even more. In just my opinion, if Max asked for them directly, that's a mistake. Whoever allowed it, that's a mistake too. I just don't think you do that. You could have got this accomplished many different ways.
I agree. And it's funny how you're bringing up MJF and creative control, considering
I don't know that.
I know you don't. I'm just saying you brought it up.
Yeah.
That's all. But there's been some discussion over the last week of Mercedes Moné maybe having, quote, creative control, been refuted. But then refuted by Sean Ross Sapp. Okay. And then JD puts video out. Like there's conflicting either way. We don't know because we're not behind the scenes.
Hold on. I'm going to tell you this.
Yes.
I have a ton of respect for what both men do. Sean would know, JD would not. But I will say this. I do believe that Mercedes has a say. Whether it's control, that's the key word.
Yes.
Is different.
Because the video brought out some context. It was some TMZ like ran up to her and was like, hey, what's it going? And she was really kind of talking in storyline, like as if she was just like cutting a promo. And then it kind of,
I didn't see this. Describe this. What happened?
They were just like, well, how does it feel being in AEW where, you have more control over what you're doing? And she kind of just gave a promo response. And then someone doubled down and was like, well, so you have like more creative control. And she's like, well, yeah, I do. And I talked to Tony. And it was, I need more context from that video.
I mean, I think
And
there's a lot of stars, big stars in
right,
AEW who have a say in what they do. But at the end of the day, I think Tony's the one who says yay or nay. And I think he's the only
right,
one who says yay or nay. But I think I'm not going to say I think. Tony's a people person,
yeah.
100%. And he likes to please. He likes to please the fans, internet, live, all the audience. That's what Tony is. Tony is a sweetheart of a human being. But at times, Tony needs to tell the talent, if it's rotten, it's rotten. And you know what? Maybe sometimes he doesn't. I don't know that because I'm not there. But I can tell you that you could see in some things, some talent has a lot of say on what goes on television.
And that was, and last part about this, that's what Sean brought up, was like Hulk Hogan had creative control, like Starrcade 97's finish
in his contract.
Like
in his
actual,
contract.
yeah. So no matter whatever Bischoff or whoever wanted to do, if Hogan said, that doesn't work for me, brother, they would legitimately change that. Yeah. So
I don't think
creative control. And I don't think that really happens, at least with Monet. I don't know. Probably not in AEW at all, based off of what we've heard and what you've said.
Again,
Tony.
Yeah, the devil is in the details, right? If somebody has creative control written into their contract, God help anybody who is signed to that. In terms of like, God help the promoter or the owner.
Yes.
I don't think anybody's getting creative control anymore. I really don't. I think there's a say. Here in AEW, here's a good selling point. If I was to be working for AEW, which I'm not, I would say, listen, their door is open and you are going to have a very high chance of your creative input being pushed and brought out on television if you sign here. If not, okay. But we're going to give you a lot of freelance and you could do a lot of things that you cannot do in World Wrestling Entertainment here in AEW. And, maybe if you want to do something, with somebody or whatever, I do think that there's a lot that goes on that Tony says yes to. And I don't know this. I could just say what I see on TV.
Sure.
I could kind of see Tony's creative at times, and I think it's solid. And then I could see where Tony's either getting input or somebody has a lot of say and it's their own character. And that'll never work because at the end of the day, like, you're only going to get yourself over. And everybody in the wrestling business is egotistical. And this is not a knock because you can't be a superstar without having some sort of ego.
You have to believe in yourself in one way or the other.
And they're all very, very, very concerned and worried and paranoid about their spots. That's it.
And that's been the case forever, Drew.
Forever.
I mean,
people
would be injured. Like, I just think of like Paul Orndorff had an injury and was like, well, if I get sidelined, there goes my main event spot with Hulk Hogan. Therefore, I'm going to continue wrestling. And that ended up affecting him throughout his career. So like, even as long ago, 40 years ago, people don't want to lose their spot. So if you get a chance to do this or that, and you'll want to work with your promoter or whoever's booking with you, but you also want to have a say because you don't want to look bad on your behalf. It's a fine line. And it's always interesting to see how those kind of things flesh out, because we're not there behind the scenes to see how it actually goes.
And that's the other thing. Like, when it doesn't matter what industry you're in, if you're in it, and I'm not using just wrestling, it's any industry. If your whole purpose is self-serving, good luck to you. And I mean that. Good luck to you, because it'll never work. Never.
Yeah, it's tough. What else do you want to talk about with Dynamite? Any other hot takes? What's your thought of the Fatal 4-Way Eliminator where the champion won?
I think that listen, a lot of people give a lot of shit to these eliminator stuff, but I thought it was the right call. Tony could have lost by somebody else eating a pinfall, but I thought it was nice to see Tony get that victory, and it leaves us guessing who. I think it's going to be Thunder Rosa. There's, a little bit of a backstory there, and I think that's what should happen. So how we get there is, who knows? The biggest thing is we have 2 more weeks until Double or Nothing. And although the good matches are solidified, it left us, the fans, in my opinion, wondering how much are they going to be able to carve off this steak? Because I mean, we're almost at the bone here. We're eating gristle,
That's disgusting.
Right. Nobody wants to eat gristle. So that's what I'm saying.
I'm a big textures guy, so that doesn't work for me, brother.
Well, that's in your contract, right? No gristle.
It also in my contract says no Drew and junk, but I see how someone slipped that in there, so I'll let it go.
Oh yeah, right there.
I can't even point to it. You threw me on this side. I see how it
See
is.
that. Yeah. I want to give a big shout out to the fine creators of these graphics who will remain nameless.
Hell yeah.
They were paid very handsomely, and they said they threw a surprise or two in there. I see one, Drew and Junk.
I see another one where you got the verified check mark. And even though I don't have one, I guess I don't get one, but you get one, so that's cool. So they know who's the real deal here.
Yeah.
You.
Well, they put you on the left, right? I guess
Yeah,
you
I
should be
know.
on the right on the TV. I don't know. We'll have to wait.
It's okay. It's all right. I'll take this spot
You're the star.
You bury me with Drew and Junk, and
I didn't do that.
Yeah, but you started. That doesn't come into the lexicon without you. So
wow, yeah, that's true. You big Star Wars or Star Trek guy?
No, why?
All right, I don't know. I thought maybe lexicon. I don't know.
Lexicon's just a good. I have an English.
It's a great word.
I know a lot of words.
It's a great word. It's an SAT word. It's a good word.
Yeah. What'd you get on your SATs?
1800.
I don't remember what I got. So I'm just.
That's a joke. I don't remember what I got either. I want to say
1800 seems high.
I think ours was at a 20. Maybe it was at a 24 or 12. I don't remember, dude. Truthfully.
Yeah. How long ago was that?
I got into some good schools. I played baseball in Providence, so I don't know. I don't know my SATs. I don't know. Are the kids still taking those nowadays? God,
I don't know. You are. You're getting up there.
That's true. A little more gray in my beard now than ever before.
George Costanza said that he was going to take his SAT score to the grave. So that's probably where I stand.
Did he do well? I'm hoping he did.
He doesn't let anybody know. That's the thing. He's like, Jerry, you're my best friend, right? I tell you everything, right? Well, this I take to the grave.
So yeah, I mean, again with Dynamite, you were asking what else?
Yeah, what else? Anything else that kind of was?
I thought the Rhino thing was cool. I love seeing Rhino in Detroit. Zach Gallon's from Detroit too. Yeah. But Rhino was always one of my favorite ECW wrestlers. He was just different, dude.
He looks the same.
He does.
He's like Arn Anderson.
But he just had so much believability, and that's what's key in professional wrestling and sports entertainment, in my opinion, is that believability. And I thought, yeah, man, I thought that was really, really cool to see him doing that. Wow, excuse me. That's the first time ever that's happened. I really absolutely dug Will Ospreay and Hangman Page's segment. I thought it made a lot of sense. I'm glad that they did that, because it's like, all right, I know that, they have this feud.
Sure.
Basically, it's not really a feud. It's because it's over the own and a shot
it's by default. Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, I was happy that happened. But I was happy that Will sat back and said, like, hey, this isn't about your redemption. This is about me.
Right. Yeah.
Because it's like that's what Hangman Page is fighting for. He wants to get back to the world championship, and I get it. I will say that the Mercedes hater stuff, the hater sit down was probably the best thing on this show. The ending with, Joe and Claudio was okay, but I'm really looking forward to Beach Blast. I really am. That card is stacked. And
is it Beach Blast?
Break, whatever. Beach Break.
WCW pay-per-view, baby.
Is it Beach Break? Is that what it is? Beach Break? Yeah. I'm looking forward to Beach Break. Beach Blast, Bash at the Beach, whatever it is. Summer.
That's right.
What is it? Summers. What was
Summerfest?
Summerfest, which is
that Jeremy Piven said.
Yeah. Beach Break. But and Zach Gallon's from Detroit, so I see why they're having this match. Even though it's in Chicago. But
hey, maybe the Pope will be there.
Damn. Congratulations. God bless. Yeah, it was okay. And it just, we're 2 weeks away from Double or Nothing, and I feel like I don't know what else they could do. Like, they got to make the Max and Bobby match official, but Dynamite was okay. The new theme song, great. Loved it. It's perfectly. So, yeah.
Do you like this little test run of Thursday live Collision? Or
you know what, Juice? They've been doing this for a little bit, so this isn't like shocking to me, but they're really like, I said this. I put a post out and people, attacked me. They'll never switch it to Thursday. I'm telling you right now, this is a trial run. If they could draw better on a Thursday than they can on Saturdays without an insane lead in, like, you got to remember the basketball lead in and stuff like that is big for AEW on a Saturday, especially the playoffs. I mean, we were at a bar last Saturday. We were at a bar last Saturday, and I wanted to put it in like I wanted to post a picture, but I was like, you know what's gonna happen? These people are gonna be like, oh, Drew asked for it, blah 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 blah. So I mean, we're at a bar and there was, because of the playoffs, there was, man, I want to say like 6 TVs that had Collision on it. And I was like, holy shit, that's gonna, it's gonna pop a number because of what happened. So I don't know. I think Collision is best served on Thursdays or any day but Saturday. Seriously.
Yeah, hey, Saturday should just be left to the old 6:05 WCW Saturday night. But I like that it is there, but I do agree. I think switching it to a Thursday could give it some new life, maybe some new viewers. And then it avoids having the other stuff going on, Dispute of creative control, Drew. You're muted, Drew.
I don't know. If whoever's behind the scenes, if I'm still muted, I didn't mute myself.
No, you're good now. You're good now.
The weeks that Blake filled in on Drew and Juice was actually due to a dispute over Juice. Wrestling of new. Okay. Got it.
Look
yeah.
out.
All right. Dave Meltzer and whomever else. That's incorrect. Incorrect. I can say that because this is my show.
That's right.
So I can tell you it's
That's
not.
right.
That was not a dispute. We don't have disputes, truthfully. Juice
we
is
don't
one
even
of
have
the
contracts.
Now, Juice is one of the most respectable people that I ever talked to on the phone. Like very, very respectful. So that's never an issue. Dynamite should have been better. It is what it is. I feel like, Beach Break is going to be fantastic. So you had one episode that was meh. We'll wait and see what happens with Beach Break. But again, my problem with the Samoa Joe stuff and Jon Moxley is if Copeland wasn't going to beat Mox, Joe's not going to beat him either. So
yeah, even in a cage, I'm sure there's going to be some sort of.
I love me some Joe, but it's not going to happen.
Yeah. Well, you love yourself some espresso too.
I do. But I do love Samoa Joe. I do. Samoa Joe is an absolute dog and did a lot for the world championship when somebody was let go. Joe took over and ran with the ball and then passed it to Swerve. And Joe's championship run was very underrated, my opinion.
I agree. Now, I mean, do you think that, the biggest criticism, I would say, one of the biggest criticisms of AEW is that their pay-per-views are too long, too many matches, this and that.
Sure.
And I kind of find it funny now that I'm realizing we're only, 17 days away from that pay-per-view and only 2 matches are announced and they're only by default as the final. So it's like we have 2 matches leading up to then. You might think, oh, they'll spread it out. We might get 6 or 7 really solid matches. And then yet they're going to seemingly pack 8 or 9 more matches in 2 weeks to get us to Double or Nothing.
Yeah,
that's where I have a problem. Like, give us something and then build it during. Let's see what the matches are going to be.
I'm going to guess Bob and MJF have a singles.
Sure.
That's a guess, total guess. Obviously we're getting Mercedes and Tony Storm and somebody. I'm going to guess Thunder Rosa. And you would assume, but you know what happens when you assume, but I would assume that, Kenny's going to defend the title against somebody whom I don't know.
Oh, you don't think it'll be Anarchy in the Arena?
Do that, sure. I mean, maybe. And then Adam Cole, I think, will defend the championship as well. So
I can see that.
You're looking at another, I would agree, 4 to 5 matches.
Yeah, it's just funny that, it'll end up being so many matches, yet we've only got 2 so far. Like, let's get something more solidified. I mean, are the tickets good? Are they already pretty much sold well? Okay.
I could bring up a manifest, but last I checked, I want to say they were set up for 7, and I want to say they were at 6.5 or 7 sold. But I will check right now for you.
Because that kind of is interesting of like, are they waiting to build? Do they not need to build as much?
They're set up for 6,700 and they're at 558.95 right now. So
okay, so they're almost 6.
Yeah.
Cool.
I mean, and I will tell you that the West Coast, whether it's Vegas, California, or Arizona, is a late crowd when they buy tickets. So
fair.
But again, like I said, I'm glad that those 2 matches have been announced for Double or Nothing, but I feel like those 2 matches were kind of in like a stall mode. Like I think they could have, and I say they could have drug out the Owen a little bit longer.
Yeah, any tournament you can set up when everything's gonna happen and make it last as many weeks as you want, because there's no like you don't have to have it every week. And
And look at the King of the Ring. Could you imagine if they stopped the King of the like the semifinals and were 3 weeks before the pay-per-view? People would be like, okay, what do we do now? You know?
Yeah, and I don't think they're doing King and Queen of the Ring this year.
I don't think so
We'll
either.
talk about that whenever we get to.
I think Night of Champions is in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah. Yes. So, because I do have some rapid fire with the positivity of last week's. Rapid fire.
Very impromptu last week because I was just like, hey, hour in and out, and Juice was on it. He's like, oh, okay, and then rapid fire, and we spoke after the show, and I said, dude, that's got to stay, and he's like, all right, we'll make it stay, and I was like, good. Where do you want to go next, Juicy, my boy?
Well, I mean, are we pretty much sewn up on Dynamite? You pretty good on everything so far with that? Again, looking forward to next week already. Like, it's like, can we just? It felt to me that AEW had the same thought process that you do. Can we just get to next week?
Yeah, and then after that, it seems like we're just Double or Nothing, and then
there's a week in between, and then Double or Nothing, right? So it's like you got a week in between the kind of special, and then the go home. And then you got your pay-per-view. So, time's running out. Yeah. Double or Nothing's happening quick. And WWE's going to start announcing stuff for their big shows that weekend too. Like, got to put forth a card. And I'm sure they will. Double or Nothing's always been a solid show for them. But, you can't take that for granted every year just because it is. You got to put forth your best effort, in my opinion.
And again, you don't want your fans to be sitting back and being like, okay, what else could they do here?
Exactly. What if you have the fans asking like what else instead of that was intriguing. What's going to happen next week?
Bingo.
And it's it's kind of a rough go.
And I'm looking forward to Beach Break. Right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm looking forward to. I'm just going to call it fucking Dynamite. I'm looking forward to Dynamite next week.
Me too.
Because I love cage matches. The tag match with Takeshita and Ospreay is going to be a good one as well. But again, is Joe going to beat Mox? Probably not. So, I mean,
but they got to load up that card because it's going against next week. The NFL schedule release.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean,
you say but they paused the draft for 10 minutes to do a skit about how they're announcing when the schedule release is happening. It's insane. So that's going to be 8:00. Some of the games will be released as we get up to it because that's what they do. They love teasing.
The NFL doesn't miss, bro.
No,
Yeah.
So I wonder what is Blake a Cowboy fan? He's a Cowboy fan, right?
Big Cowboys fan.
What is his thoughts on Mr. George Pickens going there?
He's excited about GP.
He should be hesitantly excited.
But he said he's like, he's hope we can re-sign him, and he's right. You didn't give up much for him, but if he has a really good year, you're going to want to bring him back. And I think George Pickens is going to have a very good year because it doesn't matter what athlete it is, what sport. When they're in a contract year, they seem to play their best ball.
That's the idea. It's just you got to keep him straight and narrow, and I don't know. We'll see. I think it'd be great with him and CD Lamb, and he's got a better quarterback than he had ever in Pittsburgh with Dak. So,
well, I mean, if Raji goes there, then I mean,
Dak now is better than Aaron Rodgers now, and
for sure
he would have had it. So,
but what's interesting is like I was talking to somebody about this today too, and we're not gonna make this a football show, but
I know, of course,
if for some reason Rodgers doesn't come aboard, I'm trading Minka. And I'm just ripping it down to the studs.
I'm trading Minka. I'm trading TJ.
Yeah, and I'm ripping it down to the studs.
Loading up for the draft that's here next year. Get your quarterback. Get a bunch of good players. You could trade some of those picks for other good veteran players. You can do whatever you want with more control. Run it with Mason Rudolph, and if it does great, bonus. Yeah, but we don't think so. So we'll take the higher draft pick.
I also want to bring up something. Last week we talked about the ticket prices for On Location, SummerSlam, and some others. And I just wanted to let you know that a lot of people online were talking about how the fans who are buying these are rich and they're not diehards. And I can tell you that that's inaccurate. I know the people who are buying these, and I'm not sitting here saying they don't have money, because obviously if you're going to spend $40,000 to $70,000 on tickets, you go to two events at $75,000. You do have money, and you do, but these are fans and diehard fans at that.
I would say they are diehards for spending that money. I don't know
I
where
am.
that logic lines up.
Well,
Like, you got
I'm
to be
yeah,
really invested to do it.
I'm close with two of them, and I will tell you that they are very knowledgeable on professional wrestling, and they love this stuff. They really do. They absolutely. I feel like Roger Dorn in Major League. I love this stuff, but they do love professional wrestling and sports entertainment. And you want to know what WWE loves them because they spend a lot of money. So there you go.
Absolutely. And again, if you have the money, do whatever you want.
Who am I to tell you what to spend it on? But I'll tell you this much. You want to throw me a couple shekels? I'll take a couple shekkies. You know, I mean, 40 grand for a wrestling event.
Drew and Juice can sponsor their sitting in the seat.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we'll get you a t-shirt. I got some. Supposedly we have t-shirts coming, so we'll see. Oh yeah.
This is news to me.
Oh yeah, so we'll see. But
man.
But yeah, I wanted to throw that out there. They're not like rich idiots. They're
exactly what I was going to say to that is like, you have all this money, and this is not a knock on pro wrestling because I can have great jokes against myself or the stuff I love. If you have $40,000 and you're willing to spend it on SummerSlam, you really love wrestling. Like, you're not just like, it's not even WrestleMania. Like, I'm not saying I'm spending $40,000 on Backlash.
One of my friends,
do it.
Yeah, one of my friends who goes to these things has he has so much like love for professional wrestling and WWE. And I'm not going to expose what he does and all of his stuff that he has and his collections and all that other stuff, but he absolutely loves WWE, and rightfully so. This is what he digs, and if he wants to spend the money on it, God bless him. And he knows how I feel, and that's it. So it is what it is.
Yeah, more power to them.
Yeah.
All right, Drew. So we can either do rapid fire and then Backlash, or we could do Backlash and rapid fire.
Let's do the rapid fire at the end. Let's do some Backlash. I like the rapid fire stuff.
All right, let's dig into some Backlash. This is the 20th edition of Backlash. Can you believe
what edition?
20th.
All right, we're back.
For those playing at home, 20th is the answer.
Don't hit it again, producer. That once was enough.
Yeah, so 20th edition of Backlash. It's crazy that we've gotten so many after it was a hiatus from 2009 to 2016, and then they revived it, and then boom, here we go.
I remember it came back as a SmackDown only. You're muted. Right? No way. I'm not muted.
Oh, well, I can't hear you.
You can't hear me?
Oh, I can hear you now.
All right. It came back as a SmackDown only, I believe, right?
Yeah, 2016. Yep.
Okay, go ahead.
Yep. Because the last Backlash that happened with John Cena in it was that last traditional pay-per-view one in 2009. Okay. And that was when Cena, Edge, Last Man Standing, where Big Show threw Cena through the giant light.
I was at it. Okay, I don't.
Oh, yeah, you were there.
I was there in Providence, Rhode Island. Yeah,
that's a great show because it also has Jericho and
Jericho.
Steamboat.
Yep, I
love that show.
So you want to see College Andrew? I hate talking about myself in the third person.
I'll pop the DVD in. Yeah,
but I'm there with my Mets hat on with my childhood best friend, and we're ringside. I just 2009, right?
Yeah,
that was my last year of college. So yeah.
Wow. Oh my God. I was April of 2009.
Yeah,
I was about to be a junior in high school.
I have the chair downstairs, and it's
a sick chair with Randy Orton on it,
and his back tattoo, right?
Yeah. See, isn't that funny how it all comes full circle? Because now we're getting one last time Cena and Orton.
John Cena took on, like you said, was it Edge?
Yeah.
Okay, and who did Orton take on? Was it a tag match or something with
Triple H? It might have been against something with
Triple H.
Triple H, and I thought it was I'll look it up real quick.
Yeah.
Because that's what we like. We like just looking up random stats. Oh yeah, this is what I thought it was. Triple H, Batista, and Shane versus Legacy.
Got it. And
it was for
on the card?
It was for the WWE title, which is nuts. It's like whoever got the pin got
Shawn and Taker were not on this card, right?
No. You
Okay.
had Jeff and Matt Hardy one-on-one as well in
Interesting.
an I Quit match.
Yep. All
So,
right. Okay. We digress.
yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, we digress, but it's just funny how everything comes full circle in pro wrestling. I always say pro wrestling is cyclical, and this is no exception. I'm looking forward to this. Anytime we get a crisp 5-match card, and it's in the States, so we get a 7 o'clock, 6 for you start time, so we don't got to be random in the afternoon, although I love those.
There's going to be one
Um,
more match, by the way.
oh, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah.
Care to elaborate? I
Uh,
mean, they only have tomorrow to announce it, so.
I think Jey Uso and Logan Paul.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll see. We will see, because I don't know. I feel like they would have saved that for Saturday night's main event to pop that. But who knows? Maybe I'm just nuts. Or Money in the Bank.
I think the tag match is going to
Cena's on the poster for that too. Is he going to be involved with something for Saturday night's main event?
yeah, for sure. And that's going to be your big like pull for Saturday night's main event. But the tag match with I think Punk and Sami Zayn taking on Rollins
and Seth.
Breaker. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, it remains to be seen. As of this time, without tomorrow as a benefit, we have 5 matches on this card. 4 out of 5 are title matches. And I think there's a lot of intrigue in all of these, to be quite honest with you.
I agree with you.
Let's just kick it off. Dominic Mysterio defending the IC title against Penta. Penta gets another shot at this time a one-on-one against, I love that these two guys are at the height of their powers right now, and they get to showcase one-on-one, especially with Dominic. He's not a babyface by any stretch, but the fans are really getting behind him as...
Dude, he had the loudest reaction at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
I was there. I mean, anybody could sit back and they could bullshit you. I was there. And the pop, if you didn't hear it on television, which I'm sure all of you did, it was monstrous for him. So congratulations to Dominic Mysterio. I don't see him losing this match. I do think that maybe we see some outside interference, but Dom will retain, and rightfully so. Even if they had plans for Dom to have a short reign, that reaction at WrestleMania, I think, changed everything.
I feel we might get a Finn Balor type interference where he inadvertently helps Dom, or on purpose helps Dom, and Dom's like, I don't want this. Like, leave me alone. And
yeah, I think we're headed
further that story.
I think we're headed to Dom and Finn either at Money in the Bank or SummerSlam. But I think it's a good 3-month feud, which they both desperately need. Dom is going to continue to ascend, and Finn needs something to sink his teeth into. So I'm here for it.
Absolutely. And it'll actually, elevate Dom even more, because it kind of gives you that antithesis, like, oh, well, we don't like Finn now. And I agree with Matt there. Because I've been saying whenever Dom wins eventually the world title, even, because I think that's obviously going to happen. I think that's going to be an incredible reaction, to say the least. Whoever, whenever that happens down the line, assuming.
Hello, good sir. Hello, Corey.
Corey in the chat as well.
I agree with your statement. If the producer could put that back up, and then we will take your questions and your comments and your concerns towards the ends as well. But Matt, I agree. I totally agree.
Hell yeah. So looking forward to that match. And we've got another Intercontinental Championship match, this time for the women. This is interesting. And instead of throwing the one question I was going to give you towards in the rapid fire, I'm going to kind of present it to you here. Sure. Becky Lynch as a heel, yay or nay?
100% yay. And I think a lot of people were like, oh, she should have came back and kind of said, like, I did this because I was a mom and all that. I left because I was a mom. They wouldn't have booed that. Like, you guys and girls, like, you got to start using your noodles here. You got to use your noggins. Yeah, it's relatable being a mother. She's not going to fit that into her, her promo. She's a heel.
Yeah, right.
I mean, I'm just saying, not for me and you, but it's very relatable.
No, I agree.
And it's very sympathetic. Everybody has a mother. If you're on this earth, you have a mother. So, for me, it's like, you're going to boo her being a mom? No. So it's good that they don't bring that up. It's good that she doesn't use it. And I dig what she's doing. I thought she was hysterical on the Raw post-show thing that they did with Sam Roberts. And I can't remember who the woman is. Forgive me. What's her name?
I think he presented to me and then I don't know. And then I look like a jackass too.
Oh, it is.
It's a great pod, though. Yeah,
Yeah,
do
and
you like
Becky
that?
was great. I mean,
Do you like the
what do you
WWE's
want?
doing that now? They're leaning into that. It's like, let's have our own
Yeah,
Raw reaction podcast. They kind
yeah.
of getting ahead of
All
of
the reaction streamers. I
yeah,
tried telling everybody, the reaction streamers like the Wheezies of the world, they're going to be just fine because Wheezy's
sure.
unique. She's fun. She's, very, she has an opinion and she describes it very well. And she's also very animated. It'll always work for Wheezy. Wheezy will always have something to do because she's one of the good ones. What drives me nuts is the review shows. They're never going to work anymore because nobody is going. Again, I'm not going to go on a rant, but I'm going to do this very quickly. You get these people who review the shows, right? And they're like, oh, this shit sucks. That shit sucks. I can't believe they're doing this. Who the fuck are you? Who are you? And then you get all these people to like buy into your bullshit. Like you're not writing for the company, nor will you ever. So I'm
And then
sorry. Go ahead.
they use that platform knowing they have a lot of people that listen to them, and no
Then
matter
they
what
go
they
out and they're
say,
like,
they
oh yeah,
follow it.
this shit sucks. And it's so stupid to me. You don't know how to book. You've never booked. You can have opinions. That's fine. Be constructive with them and say, you know what? Some of the booking that they come up with is fantastic. It's good. But then all of a sudden they don't do it to the T and they're like, see, this is why AEW and WWE is going to fail. No, dude. No. There's a reason you're behind a screen with a microphone, with a camera, and not helping out a company. It's because you don't know and you never will. You're yelling into a camera. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Do something, do something entertaining. Wheezy's entertaining. She's very, very entertaining.
And
She's
I was
very
going to say
animated.
this. Wheezy is incredibly articulate. That's what
Yeah.
one of the biggest things I've taken
Yeah.
away from her,
Yeah.
is that she's very well spoken, and that is very hard to come by with some of the people
Right.
that do reactions or reviews or even just streamers. You got to have a good like vernacular and be able to talk to
Yeah.
do this in a
Yeah.
smart way and
Yeah.
be engaging with people. They respond to that. So good on her. And there's definitely a lot more good out there than people will show you because the negativity loves to just run rampant on this.
100%. And
platform.
that's what, there's a lot of tweets that I put out and people show themselves just like that in the tweets. And it's
Yeah.
like, oh my God, like, dude, I get it. You know what? You don't like this. That's fine. You could criticize, but when you sit back and you are telling your audience that you could do a better job than the people who are in charge, okay, get there then. Why can't you?
Mhm.
You're such a genius. You're going to help everybody. Then go do it. I urge you to
And
find a new line
yeah,
of work. I don't give a shit how much money you're making. Go find a new line of work. Trust me. And that's
yeah.
not to these reaction streamers. Some of these reaction streamers are very, very, very good. And I think Wheezy's genuine. That's why she
Oh,
works.
for sure. Yeah. And it comes across. I feel like there are people out there that
Yeah.
it doesn't come off as genuine,
No.
and that can be difficult, to
Yes.
navigate. And as that's unfortunate, but it's like you got to be real and honest, and that's what will attract you to them. So,
If you can make people want to talk and listen to you because you're not full of shit and you're relatable and you're genuine, then you will have success in this field, in my opinion.
absolutely. Yeah.
When you start to believe that you're better than everybody else and that your opinion is the only opinion and that you could fix everything and all this other stuff, that's when you lose the audience, in my opinion. Because at the end of the day, you, me, him, we all have different degrees. We all have different backgrounds. But at the end of the day, what are we without official contracts? Consumers of the product and fans. That's it.
With microphones and
Right.
cameras.
So knock it off and just chill out. It's just wrestling. You don't like it? Okay.
It is just wrestling, yes.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
above all else, it is just pro wrestling.
And I'll never understand the hate, the want and need for hate and the whole people who harp on what do they call them? Grifters. I'll never,
Oh,
I just don't get that. Like, why? For what? What does it do for you? What does it do?
it gets them engagement. It gets them clicks. They love that. It's attention that they're not getting in some other form of their life. And the internet is unfortunately all that they have.
Put the kids to sleep for a second. I urge you to find a warm hole. Go ahead.
And I even made a comment about this type of thing after Dynasty, and I'm not going to get into it, but then I made a decent point I felt about what someone
What
else
was it? I'll
was
tell you
complaining.
if it's good or not.
We'll talk about it after the end,
All
after the
right.
show.
All right, good.
But the response from them to me was, well, I'm allowed to have my opinion, keep speaking into the void. And to me, it's you responded to me. So I'm not talking to the void.
I mean, at the end of the day, like you're all talking into the void. That's the craziness.
Exactly. Don't act like you're above anybody else. We're all fans.
No,
Come on.
like,
The
you
quicker you
know,
admit that, the easier it is to talk to other people and them
yeah, like
respect you.
I'll give you an example. Like for me, when I'd like to talk sports, but
Yeah.
John Alba is somebody who
Yeah. Oh,
actually
yeah.
talks sports for a living.
Literally on
So
TV.
I give John a lot of credit. Do I agree with everything that John has to say on professional wrestling? No, I do not. But when it comes to sports, John took his passion and his energy and he has made it into something that gives him a check weekly. And God bless him for it on a major network, not his own YouTube channel.
Right.
And I'm not disparaging the people who make money off YouTube. Go for it. But John's dream was to be involved in sports from what he said and what I could, tell. And he's done that. A lot of these people want to work for your favorite professional wrestling companies. Then fucking get there already.
Yeah, seems like it might have passed some of them by.
All right. Backlash.
Backlash. Speaking of Backlash, so back to the Becky Lynch of it all.
Mm-hmm.
I do like her as a heel, but I have to admit it has been tougher for me to accept that she's automatically just a heel after returning to such fanfare because John Cena is doing the same type of thing. And it's like Cena had a couple of weeks where I'm like, I don't know if I buy in this. And then he had that last War of Words with Cody, and I'm like, I'm all in. Becky didn't even get a breath as a babyface returning, and now all of a sudden I have to try to believe she's a heel. And I think as time goes on, I will buy it more, but it's just been tough at the start. So we'll see how this match goes.
I think Becky is more concerned about the division and getting the division properly aligned than she
And
is
over. Yes.
Yeah, with getting herself over as a heel.
Yes.
And I think, again, when you're not self-serving, this will work. And I think it works. It's believable. And I think the heel work is showing, but you could tell, you could read between the lines. Becky wants the division to be stronger and not back to, decades ago. That's what I think this is all about.
Right. So ultimately, do you think Becky takes this title? Because I see Becky taking this title to then have Lyra have to chase and potentially get it, maybe another match again. But I would like to see ultimately it lead back to the unannounced still Evolution 2 show where Lyra could get that title back.
See, and again, that's very smart on you. You don't book for the today, you book for the future in terms of like, hey, how we go, where are we going? What are we doing tomorrow? I would agree. I think that Becky will probably take this. I think this is probably the one championship that does flip at Backlash. I don't think any others will. And I think it would make a lot of sense. Becky can add a lot of shine to that championship. And then when she passes it to Lyra, it'll be an even bigger moment. Because I want to say she did this with the NXT championship, right? Like, didn't Becky lose to Lyra?
Yes, I want to
think.
say. But
Okay.
that's what I was getting to is you said to get the division over, get the new titles over.
Yeah.
It has to happen at some point. So why
Chelsea
not?
Green did a shit ton for that United States Championship. Lyra
Absolutely.
has done some, but I think Becky being involved is a huge shot in the arm. So I'm here for
Elevates it for sure.
Yes. Yeah.
Let's get to another title match on this show. Fatal 4-way for the U.S. title. Jacob Fatu, Damian Priest, Drew McIntyre, and LA Knight. This is going to be interesting. Everybody kind of has their own thing with each other. I'm going to say this only based on previous, accounts of what has happened. I'm going to say Jacob Fatu gets the pin on LA Knight so that LA Knight has a losing streak and maybe wins that briefcase.
Damn. Who pissed in LA Knight's Cheerios? I'm going to say that I agree. I think Jacob Fatu is going to get the victory. Don't know how. We'll have to wait and see. But I think Jacob Fatu going over is the correct call and should happen. But if it doesn't, it doesn't. And I won't come on here and tell you that they don't know what they're doing and they're a bunch of morons, because I think they should have went left and they went right. It's okay.
Is it eventually getting to a Solo Jacob US title match, or does that match not need a title?
You know what's interesting? Like Solo had that huge match on the Netflix show for Raw, and he hasn't done jack shit since. And he also has not ever had a WrestleMania match, singles match.
And Jacob
39,
Fatu at the same time has gotten ahead of him.
yeah, 39, 40, and 41. At this point, I think they see dollar bills in Jacob, and I think they see pennies and cents maybe in Solo. I don't know that to be the fact, but it just seems as if Mr. Solo Sikoa, who had a main event match at SummerSlam,
Yeah,
maybe that's going to be it for him. I don't know. I think Solo's a hell of a talent, and I'd like to see him involved in stuff. But a Jacob Solo feud would be cool. But that title's not coming off of Jacob Fatu for a while, in my opinion.
I agree. Not for a while. No title on the line here, but a lot of bragging rights. And we're not talking about, the previous pay-per-view bragging rights that I was in attendance for. Pat McAfee and Gunther one-on-one. I have stated as soon as this match was official, I think this has potential to be the greatest squash match in the history of WWE. And
This is a vehicle for G-Berg.
By that, I mean, I think it could go one of two ways, whether Goldberg helps in the match and Pat wins, or Gunther beats Pat McAfee down. Maybe we get some blood. He beats him down in front of his best friend, Michael Cole. And, Pat McAfee goes out on his shield. He looks better because he got beaten down, but stuck with it with a guy like Gunther. Gunther gets the win, and then cue the Berg.
So I have, I put this out, I want to say in like December, maybe. I'd have to go find the tweet. But I said Goldberg retirement tour match will whatever. One of them's taking place in Saudi, and I believe the other, he's going to have two, will happen at SummerSlam, and that'll be it for Goldberg. But I can tell you that Saudi has always been the plan. The Saudis love Goldberg. Goldberg loves the money, and rightfully so. So why? No, it's not a knock.
No, it's an amazing sentence. The Saudis love Goldberg, and Goldberg loves the money.
Who doesn't? If you're in this for, if you're doing anything and you're not trying to make some money, you're a moron. But yeah, Goldberg, I think, is going to have a match at Night of Champions, and I think he'll also have a match at SummerSlam. This seems to be the vehicle for Goldberg to return. And a lot of people needed a couple accounts to tell them this today, which I thought was asinine. Like, listen, Pat and Gunther can have a decent match. There's no doubt about it.
Absolutely.
Pat's a fantastic athlete, and Gunther's probably one of the best, if not the best, in the WWE in terms of bell to bell. So it's going to come off very, very well. But this screams Goldberg. And if it doesn't happen now, it'll happen sooner. So we'll see.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it regardless. I think these types of matches where it's a not traditional wrestler, yet I know he's athletic as hell. He wrestled Adam Cole one-on-one. He was in a War Games match, is going against the wrestler's wrestler in Gunther. Like, those are two interesting, types of guys to go at. Yeah. And I think it's going to be a fun match to watch. And, I'm a Goldberg guy. I showed on this show a couple weeks ago the photo of Goldberg and me posing with him having his eyes closed, but that's neither here nor there. At least I got the photo.
Goldberg is, I know a lot of people are going to be like, are you kidding me? Goldberg is a really good human. I know a lot of people might find that hard to believe, but he really is.
You're a Bret Hart fan.
I am. I love Bret, but I will tell you that Goldberg is a good human. He has absolutely, changed from some of the things that I guess he had. I don't know that, Bill. But Bill was very, very kind to myself and my son, and I'll never forget it. So, I think Goldberg gets a bad rap. I think everyone changes and grows up. And if you remain the same throughout the same years and you don't grow, then I would say that you're a loser, truthfully. That's just me.
Yeah. All right. Well, someone has to lose in this final match. Cena, Orton, one last time, which makes me think it's actually one final time, because had they said once in a lifetime, we all know there would be a rematch. So, undisputed title in St. Louis. Orton's going to be over like Rover as the babyface and in his hometown, with Cena coming in as the heel, a dynamic we've never seen before. Even if you liked Orton when he was a heel, this is truthfully the different dynamic. I cannot wait to see this. I want to steal what the Apron Bump mentioned to me the other day about this. This is going to be successful if they make this a vibe match. They lean into the nostalgia. They don't have to go out there and have a 35-minute match. Just lean into the hits, the AAs, the RKOs, tease the punt, all the stuff that got them throughout these last 20 years. And give me a finish that gets us to the next spot, and I'll be happy.
I am looking forward to this for numerous reasons, but one of the more, I would say, like amplified reasons, or one of my higher reasons for this, is it's Bizarro World. John Cena is the bad guy. Randy is the good guy. Never in Vince McMahon's wildest dreams would this have happened.
Hell no.
So for me, it's like being in a time warp. It's like being in Bizarro World, and I'm here for it. And to your point, this is not going to be some Meltzer 5-star classic, because I don't want that. What I want is Hogan and Rock from the Sky Dome, brother. They just need to do exactly that. And again, it's Bizarro World. John's coming in as a bad guy.
Without the double turn, unless you want one.
I know. I don't think John's heel run is coming to an end at anytime soon. I don't think his championship run's coming to an end anytime soon. But I will tell you, like, it's Bizarro World, and I'm here for it. Like, I am absolutely here for it. I'm gonna have a bunch of people right on my deck, and we're gonna have some beverages. We've got all new stuff out there.
I saw that. It looks nice out there.
Got a 70-inch TV. We're ready. We are ready for Backlash.
70-inch? Why didn't you get the big one?
Another Seinfeld reference.
It is. They do make an 85, and I think I saw an 86-inch TV though. So bigger, badder, better.
That's right. We have a 85 in my living room. So there you go.
Jeez, good Lord. It's like you're on the field. It's like the Cosm.
We like big TVs, and we cannot lie. There you go.
You can call me junk whenever you want. That's a good reference.
All right, rapid fire time, right? I think we're done with Backlash.
Yeah, I think I'm looking forward to Backlash.
Who is it?
To bounce off that, I love any Saturday PLE, man. It's just a really nice feeling because you don't gotta work the next day. It doesn't matter.
It's a vibe, isn't it? You know, like it's not have to like, hey, I got work in the morning. Like, you guys got to get out of here. Like, you know, or it's like, the kids got school. We got to get them to bed. The kids can hang out. We could grill, chill. That's what it's all about, man. So,
and have the kids watch the press conference.
No, that's not happening. I'm dreading having my kids stay up for the Cena Orton match, because I know that it's going to be like 9:30. Well, maybe not here. Maybe it'll be 8:30. You never know.
If they don't add Jay and Logan, it will be a more crisp 2:45 to 3 hours. So,
and yes, the producer's telling me we're supposed to be in and out in an hour, but I rambled for like 4 minutes. So I'm going to give that back to Juice because I went on a tangent. So we're still here. Go ahead.
Do we have another 5? You're like Letterman.
We're good.
Love that. All right, rapid fire. Just immediately, first couple thoughts. All right, so we talked Night of Champions is going to happen in Saudi. I don't think there's going to be another Saudi show in the year because Royal Rumble happens in January. Crown Jewel Perth. I am seeing Cena versus Punk, by Punk being world champion by then, if they still have that Crown Jewel championship. Do you think that's feasible?
Ooh, I think that we could absolutely have Punk win that Crown Jewel championship, because I don't believe Punk. Well, I don't know, because I don't think Punk's going to Saudi anytime soon.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If Punk wins a world title in between now and then, Crown Jewel's in Australia, and that's where you do the title versus title for that Crown Jewel championship.
Well,
and that's how you get Punk Cena without having to waste another PLE.
Well, what I'm saying is, if Punk ends up winning that match, right?
Oh yeah,
the Crown Jewel title, he's got to defend it, right? Because Cody's your current champion, right?
The Crown Jewel champion. I mean, I don't know if you have to. I don't know how. Well, I don't know what they're doing. To be fair,
yeah, me either. All right. I mean, I can absolutely see CM Punk on that Perth show. I think he'll definitely be there.
I just thought that's a way to get Punk Cena without it being like Punk having to win a number one contender or anything to shoehorn it in. AEW going to the 2300 arena. Good or bad move?
Great move. They have. I mean,
rhetorical.
Taz doing the narration of that promo, that video package was fantastic. I'm here for it. I will be at some of those shows. I've never attended a show at the ECW arena. Never been there. I've been at the Manhattan Center, any of the nostalgic buildings. I walked through the Mall of America and have for many times.
Oh,
So
you
I
son
didn't.
of a bitch.
I've never seen wrestling there, even though I've had the opportunity. But I've been to the nostalgic buildings, so I'll be there.
Thoughts on WWE Evolve having championships? Add some
Yeah,
more belts.
I mean, everyone could have saw this coming. This is basically like win the Evolve titles and then get to NXT. Win the NXT titles, get to the main roster.
Maybe because Evolve is truthfully developmental.
You don't say.
It's not NXT anymore.
And
Get over it.
TNA is basically like, we don't have anything for you on Raw or SmackDown, and you can't go back to NXT. So here's TNA. And if you do well here and you get over here, and we could trust you here, you can come back.
And
Okay.
isn't Hendry defending the TNA title at Battleground
Yeah.
Memorial Day weekend?
Yeah. Let's get a question. Let's get a couple questions
Oh,
in here,
yeah,
and then
sure.
you could absolutely continue with the rapid fire.
Yeah.
Odds of Colt teasing getting involved.
Michael Cole in the Pat McAfee match.
Sure. I think Cole will probably get up from his announced position.
He'll be screaming, I'm sure.
Right. And enough Gunther, and then Gunther will beat the shit out of Cole, and then out comes G-Berg. Go ahead.
Maybe Goldberg comes out to the frog.
Oh, man.
Can you imagine?
Give me another rapid fire. What do you got?
Fellow Juice Robinson on his way back. Looking forward to him coming back into the AEW fold.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good hands.
I think
hopefully he can stay healthy.
I liked when that initial like 2-month run with him in the Gun Club on Collision. That was like the best type of Collision to me.
They were the Collision Cowboys, is that right?
Absolutely were. We already talked about Orton and Cena long form, but is there any way this match ends in non-pin or submission, as I posited, where you could get a deliberate DQ by Cena calling back to No Way Out 2008 because he wants to ruin wrestling?
Jesus. I don't know what happened in No Way Out 2008.
Cena had won the Royal Rumble and cashed that in at No Way Out 08, and Orton was champion and slapped the referee to get purposefully DQ'd. What if Cena does that to Orton to ruin wrestling?
Brilliant. And that's the same year that Triple H had a match with Orton at WrestleMania?
That was Mania 24 where they had the triple threat and Orton still
retained. Got it. Good thing you know your history, because
or it'll just be a regular finish. I don't know.
I think a regular finish.
Nothing to lead to either Saturday night's main event or their next show. Like, what do you think Cena's going to do next? That's what
I think there could be I think there could be a rematch. Yes, it's Saturday night's main event. I do believe I do think there could be a rematch. Who do you guys want to join the Heyman, Seth, Braun faction? I think it's a group that can elevate multiple people. I'm going to go Becky Lynch just because I think it's cool. I don't know.
I agree. Even though I think they've been saying the plans were that they weren't really going to add anybody, but I think they could change that in a heartbeat if they feel like someone is able to be elevated. And you get Becky as the IC champion. What better way to elevate her to put her in that? Then the IC title for the women is crazy high on the totem pole. I like it. Two more.
All right.
They're both Backlash related. Do we see Travis Scott?
Yes, Travis Scott at Backlash, probably not. I'm going to say no at Backlash, but I mean, anything can and will happen in the World Wrestling Federation. But I will say that Travis Scott will have a match within the next 4 months in WWE.
So at least SummerSlam, is that what you're saying?
Before the kids go back to school in September too. I think it's like one of those.
And last but certainly not least, someone else we haven't seen since WrestleMania. Will we see Cody Rhodes soon?
That's a really good question. Soon, yes. Backlash?
Saturday night's main event, Money in the Bank. You got a couple events stacked within 3 weeks of each.
Who could John team with, though? So it's Tampa. Let's just say it's Cody and Randy taking on John and whom? Not going to be Rock.
Could you imagine? The Rock comes back to do
Saturday night's
main event to pop the biggest rating in the history of NBC.
That'll set the internet ablaze. I think if The Rock was going to agree to a Saturday night's main event, it'll be the one that goes head to head with All In. So
we have got to go to that then.
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm interested to see with Cody because outside of him eventually going back for the world title and Cena, I think you want to hit that Cody Orton match, but I don't know
Yeah.
when that's going to happen because you would assume one of those guys has to be the bad guy out of the two, and I don't know if Cody's ready to be there yet.
I do think that we will get a Cody heel run eventually, absolutely. But I don't know if it's then, so we'll see. Sean has who dethrones Tiffany? Bailey. No.
Someone that wins Money in the Bank, because I think Roxanne Perez is going to win Money in the Bank.
I like it. I do like it. All right, any more rapid fire?
I got nothing, brother.
Nothing. I got one for you. You ready?
Sure.
I'll give you a rapid fire question.
Yeah.
What is the most influential match in WCW history?
Influential in regards to what? Like if
what
someone
set
asked
them apart from what like catapulted them?
I mean, objectively, it would be Eddie and Ray at Halloween Havoc 97. That's what people talk about as like elevating it. But I mean, if you want to talk what put them on the map, maybe, I don't know, like Goldberg at the Georgia Dome. You're influential is kind of like what to me. I took that as if someone asks someone that knows WCW well enough, tell me the match that defines WCW.
Yeah, the match that defines WCW because of the differentiating factor from WWE or anything else. Yeah, it's Eddie and Ray, but that also happened in ECW. ECW was doing the luchadors before anybody was. But I will say that for me, the most what separated WCW was Goldberg's win at the Georgia Dome. That's when everything kind of went off. That was just.
But that was why that was my second guess. Like that's what. Look, we put 40,000 people for a TV show and had a world title match and set the world on fire.
That, and I'm going to say the Bash at the Beach match because a lot of people are like, Hogan's turn. Yeah, but that match being set and Hogan coming down set all the wheels in motion. All right, Juice. Great show as always. Why don't you tell everyone where they can like, subscribe, and follow you?
Follow me on Twitter, formerly known as X, because maybe it'll one time go back. But at Juicy Steen, we've got Backlash predictions. You heard some of it here, but you'll hear it in long form tomorrow with me. And I mentioned him. This is the third time now, Mr. Apron Bump. We talked. Normally we talk about old school wrestling on his show because that's what he does. He just talks old school wrestling. And I helped him out doing Great American Bash 97 this week. He turned around and helped me out by doing the Backlash predictions this week. So shout out to him.
You know what? Mr. Apron Bump, that's 3 times you were mentioned on my show. Look at how messed up my finger is.
Good. Is that the one that was broken?
Yeah, it's never going back. I have so many broken fingers. God. I won't even show you my other hand.
I don't want to see it.
But yeah, you're like over, I guess, like Rover here. I mean, I felt
he's a good guy.
Yeah, Jim Cornette dropped my name on his podcast, but I mean, nothing compared to what Juice just did here 3 times for you. So God bless. Hey, I'm Andrew Badalla.
Michael Cole inadvertently buried the juice box at WrestleMania.
I saw that. I heard that. I texted you from WrestleMania.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
I'm at Andrew Badalla. He's at Juice Springsteen. That way. This is Drew and Juice. Love the new graphics. Episode 15 in the books. Hopefully there's 1,500 more. Always a pleasure. Make sure you like, subscribe, and follow. Make sure you hit that bell for notifications on Final Bell Media. When we go live, you will know. Hit the thumbs up. Give us a comment. Maybe the producers will let us know and we'll answer them after the show. I don't know. But again, this was always a pleasure. I thank everybody for joining us. We had a lot of people here. I don't have the final numbers, but I know that we're well over 200 on X, and it looks like we're over 100 on YouTube. So I am always appreciative. Juice, thanks again. We will catch you guys and girls next week. Stay tuned. Maybe I'll do a Backlash post show with somebody We'll have to wait and see.
Love that.
See ya. Good night.